Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. With this video, I'm going to be showing you guys 3 combos using the new Mermail / Atlantean support from Rage of the Abyss. And this is me just testing it. There's not going to be a deck profile or anything because we're still trying to figure out how this deck is going to work and what's going to be the best build for it. But here I'm going to show you 3 combos that I think kind of give you an idea of what direction the deck's going to go. And there's even more that you can explore with this deck. It's just that from there it can become more bricky or require you to commit more to a certain theme. But we're going to get started here with Netabis, the Atlantean Prince, which is a powerful one-card that we've already had before this new line of support, and it's just gotten even better here. So we're going to use the effect here, normal summon it, and then pitch the Mermail Shadow Bodyguards, and then get ourselves the Atlantean Dragoons. Then we can use the Bodyguards here to special summon out the Mermail Abyss Spike. Activate Abyss Spike's effect in order to get Dragoons in the grave. So Dragoons is of course still a powerhouse in this deck. Just because if this card is into the graveyard, you can activate a Water Monster's effect and add 1 Sea Serpent monster for your deck to your hand. And you can see there is no once per turn here. So anytime you do it, just activate it and search something out. And it's great because you're going to be discarding a lot of things. So we're going to be doing exactly that to get our Deep Sea Minstrel and the Abyss Shrine, the Atlantean Spirit. Then we're going to use the Abyss Shrine's effect here in order to get our Mermail Abystius. Then we can get ourselves the Dragoon, go into the Bahamut Shark, activate Bahamut Shark's effect to get rid of the Dragoons here because then that'll trigger his effect. Not only that, we'll be able to get ourselves totally awesome. This does give us protection from Nibiru, which is always very nice to have. So we're going to use Dragoon's effect, get ourselves the Elemental Lord. Then we can special summon out our Abystius by pitching the Deep Sea Minstrel. Activate Abystius effect, search out our Abyss Gund. We can get ourselves the Elemental Lord, and of course this card is really great. As soon as you're able to get it out, discard 2 random cards from your opponent's hand. So extremely debilitating for your opponent, especially since we're going to establish a powerful board, and they're only going to have 4 cards to respond to it, because of course they're going to draw a card the next turn. But then we're going to go into our Princess Coral Anemone, cheat out our Mermail Shadow Bodyguards, activate its effect here to level modulate, and that'll trigger the Abyss Gun's effect because it was discarded. Then we'll be able to get our Mermail Abystius. Go into our Link 3, which is the Netabis, the Royal Mermail. And then here you typically want to line up your monsters, like your final board monsters, under this guy, just because he says that your opponent cannot target water monsters this card points to with card effects. And of course these are water monsters, so they cannot be targeted. And then we have Totally Awesome here that is going to be able to negate anything and then take it. And then when it's sent to a graveyard, you can target a water monster in your grave and add it to your hand, which is very strong because obviously you want to have things to discard. And then we have Mermail Abyss Giles here that makes us that while this face-up card has extra materials, level 5 or higher monsters cannot attack. And then once returned during either player's turn, you can attach 1 extra material from this card, then negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. So it's very difficult for your opponent to get through this board, and it's even providing protection by making these 2 difficult to target. And just so you know, you can use Totally Awesome's effect. Obviously, you're going to negate something, send Totally Awesome to grave. That'll trigger his other effect. Add a water monster from your grave to your hand. Maybe you want to add the Dragoons. It depends on what else you have in your hand here. But then give you the ability to use Netabis, the Royal Mermail's effect, where if a water monster is sent to graveyard to activate a card effect, you can take 1 Abyss equipped spell from your deck or grave and either add it to your hand or equip it to this card. So typically you want to get the equipped spell that's going to negate a spell card, just because that's going to be the easiest card to kind of remove from your opponent's hand if they try to activate it, and the most damaging. But let's go to the next combo. Alright guys, so the next combo that I have for you is another 1-card combo using the Atlantean Prince. So we're going to normal summon him here. Use his effect, pitch the same guys we did before, the Bodyguards, get ourselves the Dragoons. So you're going to see it's a pretty similar lineup. We're going to be getting rid of the Dragoons, get ourselves the Abyss Shrine, search out the Deep Sea Minstrel. Same thing here, but instead we're going to be searching out the Ice Shade Ran Aragrain. And this is because it is a tuner monster that summons a level 3 non-tuner, so it makes it easier to go into the level 10 Synchro Ice Shade monster, which is pretty powerful, and you're going to see once we get to it. So then we're going to go into our special summon out our Dragoons, go into the Bahamut Shark. Of course, always make sure to detach the Atlantean Dragoons when you're activating its effect to get ourselves the Totally Awesome. Use Dragoon's effect here, get ourselves the Elemental Lord. Then discard a card in order to get ourselves the Ice Chain Ran Aragrain here, and because we do have 5 water monsters in our grave, we can then summon out the Elemental Lord. Use the effect here, take away 2 cards from our opponent's hand. Then we can link summon into the Mermail Abyss, Alicia. Go into the level 10 synchro here, which is Ice Shade, Gimir, Air Green. So this card requires 1 water tuner and 1 or more non-tuners. And then quick effect, you can activate this effect. Face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn. So it doesn't matter what turn, like in what point you use this effect, you activate this effect. They can't be destroyed, can't be banished by card effects. It's pretty strong. And then if you activated this effect in response to your opponent's card or effect activation, and your opponent has a card with that name on their field and or grave, you can banish those cards. So you can activate in response to something you want to get banished, you banish it, and it's a non-target form of banish as well. So it's extremely powerful as a way of building up your board here. And the nice thing about the Mermail Abyssalicia is that she is going to be pumping up your 2 monsters that are on her arrows. And just like before, we're going to be able to use the effects of Totally Awesome in order to exploit the Link Monster Mermail's effect. And then of course we're going to activate the Ice Shade Gimir's effect. Obviously you want to wait for a monster or a spell or something that you want to get banished. Here I'm just going to use it just because you can see the opponent only has 1 thing in their hand. Then we're going to take the Deep Sea Area just because we can. Then, because we got something in our hand, we can actually use the Mermail Abyssalicia to discard that card. So it says during your opponent's turn, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard and add 1 Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. So then, of course, we can use Dragoon's effect once again. And there you go. Then we can, of course, pitch the Heavy Infantry, which you saw me do. And this will make it so when this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and destroy that target. So you can see just by the way you activate the effects, you can extend your advantage by just creating more plays and getting more things into your hand. But let's go to the final combo that I have for you guys. Okay guys, so the final combo that I have for you is using the Atlantean Prince and a card to discard. Doesn't matter what it is. So here we're going to get the Atlantean Prince, use the effect here, get the Abyss Shrine. So we're going to pitch the Dragoons here. Then we're going to get ourselves the Deep Sea King. This guy is pretty insane, but he can be bricky at times, so that's why you want to consider this version of the combo. It could be a little bricky if you just draw into this. Thankfully, we do have the Abyss Shrine, the Atlantean Spirit, that makes it easier to get out if it is in the deck. But otherwise, it can be bricky if you draw it. But we're going to use the effect here, get a bunch of cards onto the board. These are just level 4 lower water monsters or fish monsters that we're able to get out here. There's a very limited amount of them that you can have here, so you usually want to limit yourself to the Fishborg monsters and to your Mermail, just because they're generally good as well. But they're going to take up more slots that you would otherwise dedicate to other parts of the deck. And then here we're going to get Ib, the World Chalice. Use the effect here in order to get ourselves the World Legacy Succession. Activate the World Legacy Succession to get ourselves the Dragoons. Get out the Bahamut Shark. Then we can use the Anemone's effect to put something else to fill up that board, or fill up that section of the board here. And then we can get ourselves the Nephthybis, the Royal Mermail. Detach a material, get ourselves the Totally Awesome. Then we're going to level modulate. Because a water monster was sent to the graveyard to activate a card effect, we can add the Abyss Equip spell. What's cool is that you can just add it to your hand, so you can save it to put it onto something you want to add it to. So for instance, I want to add it to the Mermail Abyss Yugioh. I'm going to be doing exactly that, and that's because he does get a bigger advantage the more attack he has, as once returned during the player's turn, you can attach 1 exceeding material from this card, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent control that currently have less attack than this card. So just increasing this attack of this monster just means they have more things to negate, but otherwise, the only thing I would have changed here is that change the position of these guys, so you just want to keep that in mind. The Bahamut Shark, you want to keep it out of the arrows, just because you do want to give further protection to your Mermail Abyss Yugiohs here. So to conclude, this combo would give you Netabis, which is able to provide these 3 monsters with protection from target effects. Obviously, you would switch these 2 around. Then we have Adamancipated Ryzen, Dragite, which is actually going to be a spell trap negate. Totally Awesome, which is an Omni negate that steals it and also gives you something back to your hand. And then we have the Mermail Abyss Yugiohs that is able to negate your opponent's entire monster side of the board pretty easily. You're just able to just detach material. And then while this face-up card has materials, level 5 or higher monsters cannot attack, which could be relevant at times. And of course, we have the Abyssgale of the Mizuchi, which is also a spell negate if you need it to be. Use Totally Awesome's effect during your opponent's turn. You can use Netabis's effect once again to get another equip spell. and from there you can potentially have another negate. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got some ideas of what this deck is capable of doing now, and I think it's really good. It seems like it's pretty fun as well. Might consider building this IRL. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.